on the Vince Everett Ellison show. We're going to break down this P. Diddy, Tyler Perry thing for you. I'm having a ball with it today on the Vince Everett Ellison show. All right, let's get this thing started. I told you that the Democratic Party was going to start cannibalizing itself. Cannibalizing itself. Looking at the Diddy case and now the Tyler Perry case, I'm seeing this stuff come full circle and I'm enjoying myself watching it. So here you got, in the P. Diddy case, you got a bunch of perverted Democrats fighting each other, right? You got P. Diddy, who's a homemonger, beating up and mistreating women who are hoes. And then the hoes get mad and want to sue and put the homemonger in jail. And all of them are Democrats fighting each other. And everybody else is watching this like it's a gladiator sport, having a good time watching it. And it is a freaking shame. I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to deal with a statement from Mr. Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers. Thomas Paine said, "He who dares not to offend cannot be honest." Who dares not to offend cannot be honest. Well, player, Vince Everett Ellison is getting ready to be honest today because I know some women are going to be offended. And I do not care. Let me give you a caveat before we start. I have daughters. Yes, I do. And I love my daughters. Yes, I do. And I've been telling my daughters my whole life, there's one axiom. But stay away from these no good, sorry, punk, hip-hop, Negroes and white boys. They're no good. Sex, violence, materialism. They are Democrats in training. Victims, constantly oppressed. Won't work, trying to get over, and are only consumed with the pleasures of life. They do not have the ability to have impulse control at all. None. I want it now, and I don't want to work for it. And if they do get it, it's because somehow or another, some white liberal has found a way to use their talent to debase their own community. In the hip-hop, a bunch of no-talent bums sitting around recycling old music and putting rap lyrics to it and not even knowing how to do a three-part harmony. Everything Biggie Smalls did was a sample of what somebody else did. Juicy Fruit, you name it. I think Duran, you name it. And then he putting rap lyrics to it and don't even have to stay in tune. They put it out there and the streets buy it. You know why? Because he's talking about misogyny. He's talking about killing, doing dope, selling dope, fighting police, violence. And so little fast girls, somehow or another, you have girls that hear that and they say, "Ooh, I want no part of it. I don't want no part of it." And then you have girls that hear that and say, "Ooh, I want to be with the boy that called me the B word and the W word. And said that he's going to trick me and beat me and disrespect me. That's the guy I want." So she ended up getting with the guy that says in music, "You're a hoe, you're a B, I'm going to do this to you. I got 4 or 5 women on the side," all this kind of stuff. And you say, "Ooh, that's the guy I want." And then when he treats you like a hoe, surprised. Well, Cassie was one of those little girls that understood who P. Diddy was. How did you know who P. Diddy was? Because P. Diddy told you who he was. He put it in his music. He rapped about it. All of those jokers that made music for him talked about it. And you say, "Oh, I want to get with P. Diddy." And then when P. Diddy treats you like that, you act like you're surprised. His music talking about beating the hell out you, and then when you get the hell beat out you, "Oh, I'm surprised P. Diddy beat me up." Let me tell you something. I worked in the penitentiary 5 years. 5 years I worked in the penitentiary. Two things I never saw. A guilty man, because all of them said they didn't do it, and a black Republican. Every black person in the penitentiary was a Democrat. Now, I saw some white Republicans in the penitentiary. Never saw a black Republican. And this is anecdotal evidence. All I can tell you is what I saw. Now, when I look at, you say, well, there aren't any black Republicans. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. They're about maybe, right now, when I was there, about maybe 15, 20% of the black folks in South Carolina said that they were Republican. That meant that in my dormitory, where I had about 127 men, 100 of them were black, that if 20% of the population, of the black population called themselves Republican, 20% of the men in my dormitory, black men, should have been Republican. That's simple math. That means out of 100 of them, I should have had 20 black Republicans in my dormitory. Guess how many I had? None. You know why? Because I talked to them suckers every day for 5 years. And me, with my inquisitive mind, I knew everything there was to know about everybody in my dormitory and almost everybody on the yard. Because I just asked. I wanted to, put these things together. Man, where you come from? Yeah, I came from this way. What school you go to? Yeah. And I never met one who went to a private school. Never met a black person that went to a private school in the penitentiary either. Never. Ghetto school, Democrat, usually single-parent families, usually. And these are the people that P. Diddy catered to. The United States of America, this nation is finally tired of MeToo. They are tired of hearing women say, and this is the controversial part, they're tired of having women go out there and say that I slept with this man because I want to keep my job. He had power over me. Why didn't you quit and find another job? Well, I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do a lot of things. And then there's some things you have to do. Like when a man tells you either sleep with me or I'm going to fire you, you say, no, I quit. And then I'm going to get my daddy, my husband, my brother, or my uncle to come down here and deal with you. And then I'll find me another job, or I'll go back home and go live with my dad. This is why, young ladies, regardless of what your mother tells you, you need to keep a good relationship with your father. Because not only does your father love you and will protect you, he's usually got a bunch of dudes around him that'll help him do it. And I'm going to give you some psychology of men. When men know that you have a father close to you, young lady, when a man knows, young lady, that you have a father close to you that will kill over you, he's going to treat you with respect. That boy's going to treat you with respect. But if he sniffs and looks around and sees that bunch of women in the house, he's going to say, game on. That's what P. Diddy did. Now, Cassie, I don't know what type of family Cassie came from, but it's a pretty weak one because when she called up folks and told her P. Diddy was doing her like he was doing her, I don't think they did anything. They probably traded her to him. He was probably paying them. I don't know, y'all. That's a bunch of weird, freaky stuff. But when they found out that, the Punisher was urinating in Cassie's mouth, and she stood there and took it. I think the jury said, yeah, she's just about into this. When they saw P. Diddy kick her and beat the hell out of her in that hallway, and the next thing you know, Cassie is hanging out with him and going shopping with him, and they all, she leaving the house by herself and coming back to the house. Most people will say, if you are a prisoner, you're like those girls in Ohio who the crazy guy had them tied to a radiator in the house, that if you're allowed to leave the house on your own, why don't you just keep going? Well, he gave me the credit card, and I went shopping, and, then I came on back. But I still, want to charge him with raping me. Or he did sexually assault me on this day, but I then slept with him voluntarily 75 times afterward. But this time he did sexually assault me, and I wanted to go to jail for that one. Yeah, I was videoed sleeping with 100 different men while he watched. And I had text messages sent to him asking him, when we going to do it again? But I want him to go to jail for trafficking me. The American people are going to start looking at women and going to start asking them hard questions again. And I'm going to tell you young ladies something that I hope you understand. And you're not going to like this, but the left has been lying to you. The Democratic Party has been lying to you. Yeah, you can't believe all women, just like you can't believe all men. Some women tell the truth, some women lie. Some men tell the truth, some men lie. But women, again, are going to have to start taking responsibility and being held accountable for their actions and the decisions that they make. This is what I tell my daughters. I give them as much information as I can about boys. The biggest piece of information I can tell them all the time is that they can't be trusted. That was pretty easy. Until you marry him, he lying. Until you put that ring on the finger and y'all become husband and wife, don't believe a damn thing he say. After that, you marry him, all right, y'all won. You got to believe him. Short of that, marry before you carry. If he don't want to marry you before he get with you, that means he don't want you. And in these Democratic circles where all of this stuff is happening, the casting couch, the Diddy parties, the misogyny, whether it be Diddy, and now they got Tyler Perry all up in this mess. Y'all heard about him. Tyler, they got hooked up. This dude's come out, said that Tyler Perry's a pervert. I mean, he's been walking around in dresses now for the past 20, 30 years, playing Madea. And now this guy says that Tyler's been trying to hit on him and that if he didn't get with Tyler, Tyler was going to take his job away. And instead of this guy leaving, he's going to sue. There it is. The Democrat Party circular firing squad. Cannibalism. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, man. They're killing themselves. I'm very sure that the young man that got with Tyler Perry and stayed the night in his house and said that Tyler Perry got into bed with him and gave him a job on one of his shows, and the Oval, and then told him, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to kick you off the show. I bet that sucker a Democrat. And we know Tyler Perry a Democrat. He hanging out with T.D. Jakes and hanging out. Now them suckers crazy, man. They're a bunch of perverts. And you watch them, and now this pervert lifestyle is coming to destroy them. We want to, man, in some ways I want to keep MeToo going. Because I was hooking up Democrats. I think they got like one Republican. I think Bill O'Reilly got hooked up in the MeToo and got sued from Fox. But that's one. So we got like 100 to 1 thing going on with MeToo when it comes down to people getting people getting taken down. Mostly MeToo is taking out Democrats because they got a pervert culture. I mean, whether it be Jeffrey Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy, Tyler Perry, Shannon Sharp. You got a bunch of loose Democrat women with a bunch of loose Democrat men, and they all get together in this pervert circus, and they're destroying each other. A society with no guardrails. And I'm going to give y'all something. I want y'all to keep this with you. I've come up with this acronym to describe all the people that are involved in the Democratic Party right now. You know how we talk about ICE, Immigration and Customs Control, Immigration and Customs Control Enforcement? Yeah, that's ICE. All right. We can use ICE to describe everybody in the Democratic Party. Because you're in the Democratic Party, you got to be either ignorant, that's the I, crazy, that's the C, or evil, that's the E. ICE. And we're going to start calling these people ICE Democrats. Evil, ignorant, crazy, or evil. Say it again with me. Ignorant, crazy, evil. One more time. Ignorant, crazy, evil. ICE Democrats. 80% of the Democrats are ignorant. These are just rank and file voters that just really don't know any better. I understand them because I was one time one of y'all when I was young. When I learned better, I did better. That's why I do this podcast, so I believe that I can reach people who were like me, who want to do better, who actually don't have the information. Their mamas and daddies and brothers and sisters, everybody told them to be Democrats, and they, a lot of social pressure, and they bow to the social pressure. Then you got the crazy. Can't help them. All you do with the crazy stuff is lock him up. Penitentiary, insane asylum. You walking the street homeless. You see them all the time, man, talking to themselves, babbling to themselves. But the Democrats will pick them suckers up, put them on a Souls to the Polls bus, give them a ball lick and a pork chop sandwich, and have them vote for them. The more people they can make crazy, and that's why the psychiatrists and the Democrats are all tied up together usually, because the more people they can make crazy and put on medication, the more votes they get. And then you got the evil. The evil are the ones that run the Democratic Party. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the Black Caucus, black preachers. They're the Iron Triangle. They're the white liberals who are at the top running the whole show. We know them. Hollywood, feminists, Planned Parenthood, LGBTQ, climate change, teachers unions, that whole crew. And then you got the Iron Triangle up under them who are just, they're house Negroes. And these jokers then go down into control of the ones flat at the bottom, and those are the black Democrat masses. The black Democrat masses are mostly ignorant to what the Democrat Party is doing. Everybody else above them, man, stone cold evil. I mean, them jokers will kill babies, castrate little boys, call them little girls, double mastectomies, little girls, call them little boys, letting fentanyl come across the border, sex trafficking across the border, take your guns away, let men go in the women's bathroom, let men play in women's sports. I mean, just ignorant, crazy, buffoonery stuff, man. ICE Democrats. Which one was P. Diddy, you think? ICE? I think P. Diddy was the E. Absolute stone cold evil. I think Cassie was the C. I think Cassie's crazy. I mean, low self-esteem just beat down to the bone, man. Let men do her like that. Poor child. Poor child. And all you can do is pray for him. Look like her life is better. She's married. She's having children. She sued P. Diddy and got some money. It's a shame. And when people look at this and see who these people are affiliated with, and you still say that you want to be part of the Democratic Party, you're telling me exactly who you are. You are either ignorant, you're crazy, or you're evil. Because when I look at people that see this and say, I want to be affiliated with these people who are involved in this type of activity, I'm looking at you and saying, now you see this and you still want to be involved in this? Wow. Porno, the casting couch, hip hop, the drugs, the misogyny, the violence, the crime, the killing. Everywhere you go in any one of these cities, from St. Louis to Chicago to New York City to Philly, you saw all that fighting and killing over the weekend, 4th of July weekend? And y'all still want to be affiliated with these people? Man, you deserve what you get. So, when it comes down to Diddy, when it comes down to Tyler Perry, when it comes down to all these freaks and weirdos that do the Pride Parade last month, walking around looking all ignorant with booty shorts and leather and thongs and baby oil and grease, fighting in the street, raising hell in the street, and you look at most conservatives sitting back in the suburbs chilling. I know they want to paint a wide brush and say, ooh, conservatives are racist. Nevertheless, black, white, Asian, Jew, all of them live in the same neighborhoods in conservative areas. Same little suburbs, and everybody's chilling. And all of the violence and all the ignorance that's going on with Democrats are, nevertheless, they've sold to us. Even when you look on TV with Diddy and Tyler Perry and Shannon Sharp and R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, and all of this sick mess that go on and all these nasty women around them, all these suckers are Democrats. You got women online talking about they proud of their abortions. I've had 5, I've had 6. Shout it. And you look at that and you say, I want to be affiliated with that. You go ahead on and do it here. And then don't be surprised when your life becomes a train wreck. Don't be surprised when a bunch of guys like Diddy and Tyler Perry and the rest of them start treating your daughter like they treat Cassie. They're going to tell you who they are. You better believe them. You better believe them. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep going. And the left telling your daughters that they can't protect them from this is a lie. They can only protect themselves. And when it comes down to the Second Amendment, I don't even understand why women are against it. Every woman that go out on a date with one of these little goons right now need to have a 45 in her purse. And when he start acting a fool, pull it out and stick it right up under his neck. And tell him, you better slow your roll, player. Because I'll pull this trigger and not even go to jail. That's my advice. That's why they call it the equalizer. Samuel Coates called this gun, the Colt revolver, called it the equalizer. Said, put any man in front of me, regardless of his size, and I will equalize. If you don't want a 45, put a 22 in your purse. But every woman in America should be about being able to carry whenever they want to, how they want to, and to be able to use it with impunity. That'll back the Diddy's, the Tyler Perry's, the Shannon Sharps, and the rest of all of these perverted Democrats back. But again, you kind of hanging out with a party that wants to take guns away so they can mistreat you. And you know what? You stupid women. I'm not gonna say anybody deserves it. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not going to say anybody deserves to have anything happen to them. That's bad. But I do really want you to start putting some serious thought into women's empowerment. And understand that you have to start showing the proper example of cutting people like Diddy and Tyler Perry and Shannon Sharp and Cosby and Weinstein and Epstein and the rest of these terrible, terrible people off. And you have to start showing the proper values and the proper example to your daughters and to your children by holding these people in utter contempt. Because right now, the law is turning its back on these hoes that want to act like hoes, and then when they're treated like hoes, want to sue and send a man to jail. They're going to start looking at these women, and they're going to start looking at the things that they do. They're going to start looking at their demeanor, and they're going to say, no, we're going to hold you responsible for your actions. We're going to start, which for the last 50, 60 years has been taboo. Because holding women responsible for their actions used to keep them honest. Now they've started lying to them and started telling them that you're not going to be held responsible for your actions. We're going to hold men accountable for your actions. So yeah, you can go up in the room with a guy at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can undress and get naked. You can drink liquor with him. And then if he touches you, we're going to put him in jail. And that has gotten a lot of women in trouble because it usually just doesn't happen that way. They end up sexually assaulted. They end up with their lives being ruined. The man might end up in jail, but she'll never be the same again. We want to avoid all of that. And maybe if you start telling them we're going to hold you accountable, it might save a lot of these young ladies a lot of abuse and a lot of heartache and a lot of shame and a lot of trauma by giving them absolute rules on how to live their lives. And yeah, the boys aren't going to like it. Hell, they ain't supposed to like it. Well, he won't like me. Well, he didn't like you anyway. Juries are going to turn their backs on these actions from here on out because these young ladies are getting too loose. If you take nothing from the P. Diddy trial, you take that. And the fact that all of these liberal women were just mad. Oh, they wanted Diddy to go down. They wanted Diddy to go down. Because Cassie hadn't done anything wrong. Oh, they wanted Diddy to go down. And now they're angry because you know why? They're going to be held accountable for their actions too. And the one thing a Democrat never wants to be is held accountable for the things that they do and they say. Non-accountability. That's the Democratic Party. That's their mantra. And a New York jury said no. I can understand it if it's down in Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina. No, this was in New York City, y'all. Tide is changing. And I hope and I believe that the women of America are going to stand up and start treating themselves with the respect that they deserve. Because there will always be Diddy's and Tyler Perry's and Shannon Sharp's. There will always be evil men out there that are willing to take advantage of women that allow themselves to be taken advantage of. You have to understand that you're more than that you're better than that. You have to understand also that men will tell you anything in order to get you in the sack. You better believe it. You better keep it where it is in your head and make these jokers honest. Because if you don't, when they start treating you the way that you're acting, if you're acting like a hoe and they treat you like one, the juries probably now are going to start saying, nah, you gotta go ahead and grin and bear that one, baby. We ain't gonna send this man in jail. Because we saw how you acted. We saw what you did. And you're gonna be held accountable for your own actions. Yeah, like I say, who he is honest shouldn't have to be worried about offending anyone. And I know some people are going to be offended. And I know some people right now, the women ain't got no control. These men doing this. Every man should go to jail. Every woman should be believed. Every woman, Okay, you keep on believing that. Go out there now and start doing what Cassie did and that little girl Jade and then go out and try to sue somebody and get them put in jail and see what happened to you. Go ahead on. Just like the tide has turned on LGBTQ, tide has turned on MeToo. And they come to find out it's a bunch of bull crap, and people are going to have to be held accountable for what they do and what they say. And I'm going to keep telling you that because I'm here to wake you up. Hope you did some good today. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website, and on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps, you got my books, my documentaries, you got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts, we're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it, make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good, and it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.